Guys, I'm John Barker. This is the Skull and Mortar Kitchen. You might know me as your grandma's favorite pit master. And I just want to know, does Instapot pulled pork suck? So guys, this is my Instapot, which is pretty glorious, but it's not big enough to put this whole pork butt into. So we're gonna have to start by cutting this pork butt into smaller pieces. Now I'm going to grab my trusty Dalstrong Omega Series knife, and by the way, if you're interested in any of my knives or equipment that I use, I have it in my links down below in the description. Check that out. We do get a kickback from Amazon for that, so it does go to support the channel. And we're just going to cut this into as even pieces as possible until I hit the bone. I'm just going to keep running the knife on the bone apparently. So we're going to cut around that bone. And much like Terry's mom, it does take me a second to cut around the bone, but eventually I get the job done. We're going to leave the bone in because I want to make sure I get that bone flavor in there. I just like the way the meat tastes around the bone. Ha ha, I get it guys. Very funny. We're all perverted comedians here. Grow up. And now we're going to throw this over on our cookie sheet because we're going to make sure that we season it. Now we're going to season all exposed sides here so we can try to get as much flavor as possible into the meat. Now I'm using that Skull and Mortar OG rub from skullandmortar.com. You can use whatever rub you like, but if you want to use this one, you can check it out at skullandmortar.com. You want something that has some sweet, some peppery notes, a well-rounded flavor. Now we're going to hit the inside of this Instapot with a little bit of olive oil because we're going to want to sear our meat here as much as possible. I'm not sure how well of a job it's going to do, but we're going to give it a shot here. It does have a saute feature, so we might as well take advantage of that. So I don't think this thing is hot enough to get like a dark sear on it, but I guess just enough to kind of lock in some of that flavor. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of how this looks. Like, I feel like it kind of looks like crap, to be honest with you. But this is what the recipes look like. This is what I'm understanding it's supposed to be like. I think this would have been better off browning in like a cast iron pan or skillet and getting a better crust on it, but we're going to keep plowing forward. So we've got all of our meat back into the Instapot. We're going to add about a cup of beef broth. Then we're going to add another 3/4 cup of broth and about 1/4 cup of sauce. And then we're going to just pour a little sauce on top of that. I'm using that Beach Bum OG sauce from skullandmortar.com. Use your favorite sauce. The reason we're doing this is because the Instapot needs moisture to run. Most people suggest that you put in water. We're going to check our seal before we put the lid on here, but most people suggest water, but I'm afraid that that's going to create too bland of a flavor, which is why I put an extra dollop of sauce in. So let's lock in our lid here. We're going to set it to pressure cook. We're going to put the pressure on high, and then we're going to jump our time up here. Should take around somewhere between an hour and an hour and a half. So I'm going to set mine at about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and then we'll check back and go from there. All right, this thing's done. Let's, whoa! Didn't expect that. Let's get that vent going. Oh my God, moisture everywhere. Woo! Maybe we'll turn down the level of vent a little bit. I think maybe we got a little too vent heavy, a little vent excited. Sometimes when you got a vent, you got a vent. Whew, got juice everywhere. Holy crap. Look at this juice. This thing right here, it sits low when it's done. All right, so
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it does not look good.
Is it raw?
No, it just doesn't look good though. There's absolutely no bark whatsoever. But I mean, it's tender. It appears to be tender anyway.
Yeah, you should try that first.
Let's see, let's get a bigger chunk and see how tender it is. So, the meat does still stick to the bone to some degree. And I said we had it going for 80 minutes. So, I was under the understanding that that was plenty of time. So, this meat right here does look like it's stuck to the bone. So, that's not a positive. Most of it comes off, but there is some sticking. So, it seems to really only be around the bone that we had problems with the meat maybe not being very tender. All right, so question 1, does it pass the look test? The answer to that is no. It does not look appealing at all. I have seen worse looking pulled pork, but not that I've made. All right, well, I guess the only thing left to do really is a taste. I mean, most of it's pretty tender. The only part that's hard is the part that was up against the bone. That part did not seem to cook as thoroughly as the other parts. Everything does look cooked. There's seems like there's decent fat rendering throughout. All right, well, let's give it a taste. Let's give it a try. Fred in the house, we're gonna try it out. Top.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, but it kind of just tastes like stewed meat, you know what I'm saying? There's a light barbecue flavor, it's not heavy. There's no bark, there's no real texture, everything is the same. This is probably acceptable for the average person. We're gonna hit it with some more rub and see if that doesn't help the flavor a little bit. And we're gonna give it a healthy dose there and just kind of just let that sit on top. That helped out. I mean, that added some rub flavor to it. It's definitely a meat that you're gonna want to sauce. This is not a meat that you just straight up eat. You're gonna want to mask it and other stuff. Probably be great for tacos, pozole, any kind of soups or chilies or sandwiches that you put some sauce on, some coleslaw. Is this better than smoked meat? The answer to that question is emphatically no. Am I wrong? You like it better off the smoker? Right. Does it have its place? Sure. It's probably way easier to make. It probably has a way lower skill level, but this is not ever gonna replace regular pulled pork in my house. But how it works. I would honestly give this, if we're doing it out of 10, I'd give it like a 5. Guys, that's it. This is better than crock-pot pork all day. It's not as good as smoked pork, but you know, it is what it is. If you want something quick, something easy, if you don't have a smoker, maybe you go with the Instant Pot. I, for one, will be sticking with the smoker whenever possible. That being said, make sure you check out skullandmortar.com. We're Skull and Mortar everywhere on every social media, including Vero and the Hive, so holler at your boy. I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. So after we get you looking dope as possible in your Skull and Mortar t-shirt, we gotta get to the cooking. You might as well get that food tasting fly as possible with your Beach Bum Barbecue Rub, made exclusively by Skull and Mortar. It's award-winning. It's gonna take your food from the bottom to the top. And after we sauce you up, we might as well rub you up, my friends, with that Skull and Mortar rub. That's right, don't be a pervert. We're not talking about that kind of rub up, my friend. We're talking about the rub that you put on your meat. Again, come on, dude. Have some class. Put this on your chicken, your pork, your beef, your fish. It doesn't matter, you can put it on anything. If you can find something you can't put it on, shoot me a DM because you'll literally blow my own mind. Check it out now at skullandmortar.com.